up, I watched that episode, and you gave me some words of encouragement that were that lifted my spirit. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
No, you're more than welcome, pal. Just really glad that you feel like doing the show today, and we'll be going to Desmond throughout the morning as he gets to feeling better and better. And coronavirus obviously has impacted just about everyone in our society, and it's touched football throughout the season, as you know. And the big story is the way it has touched the #1 team in college football and the #1 player. Trevor Lawrence of Clemson is out for the game against Boston College today, as you well know, after testing positive. On Wednesday, the team conducted their second test of the week. They then practiced. Lawrence was at that practice. Thursday, testing showed that Lawrence was positive. He had mild symptoms, which we understand remain. Going to miss the game. The potential date to be cleared is right before Notre Dame. There are a lot of factors that come into play with that. Clemson and Boston College play at noon on ABC. Holly Rowe is there to cover the game for us. Holly, what is the latest with the situation with Trevor Lawrence and testing positive?
Well, guys, there's some good news this morning. As you mentioned, Trevor Lawrence was at practice Wednesday afternoon, so some of us were concerned that there could be additional positives. I asked Dabo Swinney about it, and he thought that their measures they had put in place at practice would prevent a widespread spread of COVID. And this morning, I am hearing that there are no additional positives. I will confirm that with Dabo Swinney when he arrives here at the stadium, but that's what we are hearing right now. And that's great news for the Clemson Tigers. So they have been able to contain this. They did say that they isolated the source of where Trevor came in contact with the disease, and that it was not here at the football facility. So Clemson not facing a widespread outbreak at this point. That is great news for the #1 team in college football. So turn the page. That means DJ Uiagalelei is getting his first career start. And when Dabo Swinney found out the news about Trevor Lawrence, the first person he saw was DJ in the quarterback room watching film. This young man is a film junkie. They say he is completely prepared for this moment and that they are not going to back off of their game plan. They trust him. Reese, the other really important thing is they had planned for something like this with COVID. They said that Trevor Lawrence and DJ have been taking about the same amount of reps at practice. So if something like this were to occur, they would be prepared.
All right, Holly, and Holly will talk with Dabo Swinney a little bit later on this morning prior to kickoff of Clemson and Boston College, and we'll check back in with her throughout the morning as Trevor Lawrence is out. Now, Holly mentioned something really important as you look at the ACC COVID-19 protocols. In the ACC, sometimes contact tracing can keep you out longer than actually contracting the virus itself. So at the moment, it appears that Clemson does not have that situation on its team. Student athlete identified through contact tracing, as you see, he has to quarantine 14 days. Trevor Lawrence, the date would be the day before the Notre Dame game. So there are a number of questions to get to here, Kirk. So let's start at the beginning. Vulnerability for Clemson without Trevor Lawrence, no matter how talented Uiagalelei is.
I think the big thing to understand is that Dabo Swinney, probably as good as any coach, rallies his team around adversity, gets them to feel challenged, gets them to feel people question you. By the way, James Skalski, just as big of a deal on the defensive side of the ball, also out for this game just for an injury, but he's out. So I think you're going to see an incredibly motivated team. This quarterback has all the skills. You're going to see that when you watch this game. David, I'm probably more excited to watch this game now because I can't wait to watch 5, 6, 4.5, 250 pounds. We've all been hearing about what he can do. In fact, in the Miami game, the game was still in doubt. I mean, it was early in the game. They came out for like the second or third series, so they have an incredible amount of confidence in what he can do. Now, he's still a freshman. He's going to be a little late on some throws, but overall, I mean, let's turn him loose. Let's see what he can do.
Well, like you said, Dabo creates that permanent chip on their shoulder. Anyways, This just gives plenty of fuel to the fire. This is perfect. Listen, this is not an ideal circumstance, but here's the thing. I do believe 100% for the first time, backup quarterbacks are getting more reps than they've ever gotten.
They have
to be ready for this. So I think, Des, it's something that Dabo and them have been prepared for. They didn't want it to happen, but now they're ready for it because they've seen it across the country. Nobody's immune to it, and they knew it could possibly happen. So I think they're ready for it.
Yeah, no one wants this to happen, but, you look at Dabo Swinney and his coaching staff, the thing that jumps out to me is that they're always prepared for anything that happens on the field, saying that their team is very well coached. They're very far from a one-trick pony. I know they're upset that this happened, but they know they will move forward. Trevor Lawrence will be back in the fold, if not next week, the following week. But I do believe that they're prepared to play against any opponent, Kirk, that they have on any given day. As long as Tony Elliott is calling the plays, I think that they'll be fine on offense, Kirk.
Yeah, Tony Elliott, I think, has all the confidence in the world. I know Brandon Streeter, the quarterback coach. This young man has worked hard. When I hear a guy that has that kind of talent, coach, is also a gym rat, that's a dangerous combination. So I think we're all, at least on this set, we're all fired up to see what number 5 can do tonight.
Kirk, as a coach, when you lose a great player, you have to be very careful not to make too many adjustments and mess up your team more than necessary. Reese, you make as few changes as possible. Few changes as possible.
You know what changes were made when all this news came out? First, they took the game off the board.
Yeah.
And then it went from a 31.5-point favorite to like 24.5, down a touchdown. But the most important thing is it went from out of the Saturday slate to in the Saturday slate.
Well, and I think it's the story of the week for obvious reasons. You lose the experience, but the athletic ability, and I think what you'll see, the power running and the arm strength, I think is something to keep in mind. James Skalski, I talked about, also out. He's a veteran and a leader. So you'll see Jake Venables, the defensive coordinator, Brent Venables' son, step in. He's played a lot of football. And for BC, they're going to have to just wing it, just throw it and try to score with Clemson tonight.
Let it rip. That's what TJ Finley did last week as a true freshman. You saw the true freshman coming of age for LSU, making plays. Ricks with the pick 6. Ojulari with 3 sacks. So young guys making big plays. And how about J.J. Pegues? Get some of that. Get some physicality. Remember when Bo Nix and Seth Williams had some problems? Problem solved.
How about Memphis versus Cincy? The Tigers' offense, led by Brady White, is putting up 39 points per game. They can hurt you through the air with Calvin Austin or on the ground with Rodriguez Clark. But the Bearcats' defense, guys, they take a lot of pressure, a lot of pride in pressuring the quarterback and creating turnovers. That's why they're number 1 in total defense in the conference.
Speaking of number 1 total defense, we're going to see it in Stillwater. How about Sam Ehlinger running the football, throwing the football, dual threat quarterback Joshua Kelly down the field. He's been finding him like crazy. This Oklahoma State defense is going to swarm. Spencer Sanders showed some ability to run the football. It opened it up for Chuba Hubbard and company in the running game. Can they do it against the Longhorns today?
Usually in this block, we get excited for the games of the day. Who had Indiana Rutgers as a game to get fired up for today?
Undefeated. I did.
Exactly. Michael Penix, of course, the 2-point celebration, threw the ball around. That'll be the challenge, I think, for Greg Schiano, who's now back in Piscataway. Remember, this defense created 7 turnovers in the opener against Michigan State.
And our game tonight, Ohio State and Penn State. Man, Justin Fields was nearly perfect. Even after Chris Olave got banged up, Garrett Wilson was sensational. And Herbie, how about your guy, Jackson Smith-Njigba? You said right before the end of game day, watch 11.
Look out.
Boy, did they. They better watch out for Shaka Tony. Watch out for 18 tonight. Penn State can get pressure. And Penn State, with the injuries at running back, Sean Clifford went over 100 yards rushing. And 2 straight games, Ohio State has allowed 100 yards rushing to the quarterback position. What's in store today? 9 ranked teams on the road against unranked opponents. Underdogs are winning straight up nearly 30% of the time. That would be the highest rate in 40 years. Can that last line be right? Did San Jose State actually stumble around and accidentally win, beat Air Force last week?
They did. You're very happy. Meanwhile, you're watching every snap of that
Late
game.
night text.
I did. You bet. Oh, we got a bunch coming your way, including Michigan and Michigan State. They took the Little Brown Jug, did the Wolverines. Now they're after Paul Bunyan's trophy. Careful with that number. Wolverines 1-5 against the spread on Halloween the last 40. And in Stillwater, Horns haven't beaten a top 10 team on the road in 10 years. All but Tom Herman, the specialist at taking down the highly ranked teams. Can the Horns do it today? And Nick Saban's birthday, happy 69th to the Crimson Tide coach. Mississippi State comes in. You know what the most popular 2 costumes are in Starkville? You either dress as a pirate or you dress as a transfer portal.
Oh, there's a lot of that. Too soon. Too soon.
Is it really? And more from Clemson coming up. Clemson and Boston College. Trevor Lawrence out. We'll have a lot more of that. DJ Uiagalelei making his first start at quarterback.
Uiagalelei. Gotta get that lele in there at the end, on the back end.
And they say, don't do it too hard, you know? Ryan Day is going to join us in just a little bit. Some iconic moments. Remember these moments that you never forget. Does Michael Penix's stretch fit in the category, at least for Indiana, for 1 week? You better believe it did. And Tom Rinaldi with the story of Michigan's Quiddy an improbable journey from West Africa to Ann Arbor, a story of war, loss, and survival. And there's a college football team down in Myrtle Beach. The Shots, they believe they have more fun than anybody.
Obviously, we like having a good time. We play hard. But I think for the most part, they've been seeing that we're a football team that likes to have fun.
You're going to have to still coach me up on how that two-point conversion was good. I thought when it hits the ground, you're down.
It was.